wants more now, if she wants to do more, and she chooses to do more, then different role, isn't it? Right? But she chose for this portion of her life to say, hey, for now, I want to be the mum and the wife. That's it. And I said, by the grace of God, you know what I mean? It'd be like that. Y'all hear Ayesha Curry talking about 50-50. Yeah, well, we don't hear that. Yeah. And I think, but I think Ayesha Curry's situation also is quite unique in her situation, because with Steph Curry, they met when they were very, very young. And Steph Curry comes from a basketball institutional family. He ain't broke and never been broke. He ain't come from the trenches. You know? He ain't come from the trenches. And that's also very true for Roots Doma. That's very true. Yeah. That's very true. And this is a conversation, Logan, as well, because this is also another conversation in terms of the fact that this can also be very difficult. It can be very, very difficult. Because, you know, one of the things that happened with Ayesha Curry, and what is what people don't really talk about as well, you know, someone said it, but you know, but yeah, no, it can be because it, and you know, if you've watched Love and Marriage DC, if you watch DJ Quick Silver, is it, and his wife, and I can't remember her name. Why isn't I got her name? Very beautiful woman. But DJ Quick and his wife, I've forgotten her name. I'm so sorry. I do apologize. I wanted to actually say her name because she's not in his shadow at all. That is the struggle they're having. She wants to come into her own now. And actually, and she was her own person before, but Brittany, thank you. And as she wants to come into her own now, there's a struggle. Right? You see that he's working more. It's Ashley, sorry, Ashley, not Brittany. Ashley, thank you. And you see that now, that there's a struggle between Ashley and DJ Quick. And actually the struggle is about him just resting. He won't rest. Do you know why he won't rest? Because he doesn't want the power struggle between the two of them. He doesn't want the dynamics to change. That's the reality. Because he knows once she starts earning far more money, she has far more power in the relationship. And do you know what happens when that happens? He loses control. Now, someone can say that's very bad, something, whatever you call it. We won't go too deep into it today, but that aspect is also a big ploy in also how relationships dynamics change, right? Because you see now, Savannah not even has to, but Savannah's going to be catering herself towards LeBron James. The moment she has businesses and contracts and employees, and she has all these things she's got to do, now she's trying to balance all of these things at the same time. And what relationship they did have previously, where Savannah was at his every beck and call, now changes. She's no longer at every beck and call. Now she's going to be asking you need to spend more time with the kids. I don't know how you're going to do it, LeBron, but you're going to play ball and you're going to look after these kids. Right? Okay? So what happens is the shift happens in the relationship in terms of effort that comes into relationship. So that's where sometimes relationships can become very tricky too, because suddenly, let's say, for instance, Savannah right now said, I'm choosing to be a wife and a loving, and be a great mom. And then let's say, for instance, Savannah goes, you know what? I want to have my own. Okay. All right. I want to have my own. And now when I have my own, this can now begin to shift the dynamics. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying oftentimes people don't really do well with the shift. It can be very difficult to navigate the shift. So that can be very difficult sometimes as well, right? So that sudden shift, if they came into that, Dwayne Wade came into knowing Gabrielle Union as Gabrielle Union. We know her as Gabrielle Union. Right? We know Gabrielle Union as Gabrielle Union. We already know that. That's Gabby. You know what I mean? That's Gabby. We know Gabby already. If LeBron, I know it's a joke, but there's a reality behind this. If LeBron says, "Hey, babe, can you get something to cook now?" Of course, he has chefs around, all this kind of stuff. We're talking hypothetical here because I'm sure he has chefs and all that stuff to do that for him anyway. But if he says, "Now, hey, babe, can you cook me a sandwich or do this, whatever?" They're not gonna have an argue about the sandwich. But if she's working and tired and all this stuff that she's trying to financially connect, that can also happen. But the reality is, because the situation has changed. You know, so that can also be a thing too, you know. That's very true, Lyndon, as well. That's also a reality as well. That if you don't have to have that stress of it won't, if it doesn't work, I'm not going to lose everything. You're absolutely right. That will be less stress. And the stress becomes more about your personal wanting to achieve. Um, you know, Lily Flower said, if she doesn't, if you don't think Savannah doesn't have her own endeavors and quiet ventures, you're bugging. I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm saying whatever she has is not impacting the relationship because it's not so huge that we all know about it. Right. So she might even have a little business on the side. She might have a little funny financial thing on the side, but it's not so huge that it takes away from the family and from her time as being a mom and being a wife. Clearly, because we're not hearing about it. So I'm not saying that she doesn't have anything. She might have investments. She might have other things. You know, she might have other things out there, but it's not so much as impacting anything to do with what her and James are doing so far. We don't even hear about it, you know. You know, as well, you know. So that in that instance, you know, so that's what I mean by that, right? You know, if she does, then they have a different dynamic of a relationship. And some people can't cope with the change. You know, ASAP Rocky, Rihanna. Rihanna's a businesswoman. Shout out to Rihanna. Businesswoman, a musician, model. I mean, not only is she doing that, she's conquering new environments. She's created a line of makeup that was not just for black women, not just for women, but black women specifically. Okay, like that, yo. You know, Rihanna is a whole boss, but she was a whole boss before ASAP Rocky got into that position. So ASAP Rocky knows what he's getting into. It's different when we don't know what we're getting into, right? And then and when I met you, you were at this particular level, and then when I now meet you, you've changed the level, right? And now how you're interacting with me is different. Now what you require from me is completely different. That can be stress on a relationship as well. You know, so we're not going to belittle, and just to make it very clear as well, I never want to belittle being a mum and being a wife. It's a whole job in itself. So I want to make that very clear as well. Being a wife and being a mum is a whole damn job in itself. And I can tell you that because even being a firstborn third parent, apart from the financial constraints, you do everything else. You cook, you clean, you look after your baby, you potty train, you know, you come home early, you lose summers. Okay, all right. You have to think about someone like, you know, so I can tell you for sure that being a mother ain't no joke, and being a wife ain't no joke, because you're at the mercy again of having to serve someone else other than yourself. So I'm not going to take that away from any woman at all. I wanted to, if anything, we appreciate the contribution that you're bringing, which I understand. If the man has enough money to take care of all the bills, he should, because that role that you're going to play is so important. Of course. Of course. You know, so it's different. It's powerful, you know. That's true. And ASAP Rocky's not small boy either. ASAP Rocky is, you know, his own musician, and he's done great things as well. So it's not like he's a small boy, you know. You know, it's not like he's a small boy at all. You know,